today on Rappler. The central bank boss tops the list of the highest paid government officials in 2011 at 10.58 million pesos. Twelve rockets hit Israel hours after a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. And a survey shows Filipinos are the most emotional people in the world. Hello, I'm Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. The Commission on Audit releases a list of the highest paid government officials in 2011. Topping the list are officials from the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, Development Bank of the Philippines, Government Service Insurance System, and the Philippine National Construction Corporation. BSP Governor Amando Tetangco Jr. is number one with a salary of 10.58 million pesos. DBP COO Edgardo Garcia follows at 9.83 million pesos and GSIS official Benedicto Arcinas Jr. at 8.97 million. PAGCOR Chief Cristino Naguiat Jr. ranked 22nd in 2011, earning 5.43 million pesos. He was last year's highest paid government official, earning 69 million pesos. Supreme Court Justice Marvic Leonen assumes his post at the High Tribunal Wednesday. Leonen takes his oath as the court's 172nd justice before President Benigno Aquino and Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno. Sereno also briefs him on his new post. Before his appointment to the High Court, Leonen served as Government Peace Panel Chair. In a tweet, Leonen says, quote, "Justice is the result of human sensitivity, intellectual rigor, and an abiding faith that we can collectively learn from our histories." Retired Lieutenant General Raimundo Ferrer says the worst election violence in the country's history 3 years ago could have been prevented. In November 2009, 58 journalists and family members of the Mangudadato clan were killed by members of a rival clan, the Ampatuans. Ferrer was the former chief of the Western Mindanao Command. He served as martial law administrator of Maguindanao after the massacre.
They could have prevented that.
But they didn't take it seriously.
But on my level, I could not actually dictate on the commanders how to do it. But
yes.
I was telling them, you try to manage this tension, because I knew that there will be tension when these two groups will meet.
74 members of the Ampatuan clan are running in the 2013 elections. Ferrer says their candidacies can't be stopped because not all of them are criminals.
Like they said that the Ampatuans might be going back to politics, and we cannot prevent them because they are not all criminals. So for me, it's not the Ampatuans who created a monster out of themselves. It's somebody, it's Manila that creates monsters on the ground, because they, in order to get political support, you have to take care of somebody on the ground, and because of the culture, if you give them so much direct connection to Malacanang, then they abuse this relationship.
Senator Franklin Drilon questions LP's endorsement of some members of the Ampatuan clan running in the polls. In a press forum Thursday, Drilon says there is no room in the Liberal Party for the Ampatuans in the 2013 elections. Drilon says we should revoke whatever certificates of nomination and acceptance that may have been issued to them. I am not in favor. But Malacanang says Maguindanao Governor Ismael Mangudadato explains that those with the Ampatuan surname do not necessarily, quote, share the same brand of politics that the patriarch espoused, referring to Andal Ampatuan Sr. COMELEC rejects more than 200,000 applicants in the recently concluded general voters registration in the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao. A COMELEC supervisor in Maguindanao says most of the rejected applicants are double registrants. The applications for registration were subjected to a post-verification process. The general registration in ARMM was meant to clean up the voters list. The Commission on Elections, in an en banc ruling, denies the party list application of pro-Aquino group Black and White Political Party. COMELEC Commissioner Rene Sarmiento says the poll body voted 5-2 against Black and White. He explains the disqualification is because it seems to have no track record of upholding interests of the marginalized. COMELEC Chair Sixto Brillante says the group's disqualification should erase speculations that the poll body is pro-Aquino. The Philippine Embassy in the United States is coordinating with the Federal Bureau of Investigation to get more information on a, quote, failed terror plot. A U.S. permanent resident born in the Philippines and two others were arrested in California in the United States Sunday. They were allegedly trying to leave the U.S. for Afghanistan to join Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. In a statement, Ambassador Jose Cuisa Jr. says the suspects are, quote, allegedly plotting to mount terrorist attacks that included targets in the Philippines. 12 rockets fired from the Gaza Strip hit Israel Wednesday in the first hours of a ceasefire agreement after a ceasefire agreement took effect between Israel and Hamas militants. The truce, announced in Cairo Wednesday, ends a week of attacks that killed more than 150 people. It requires both sides to stop attacks and for Israel to open Gaza's border crossings. An Israeli spokesman says the rockets landed in an open field and caused no injuries or damage. Israel ambassador to the Philippines, Menash Baron, says he hopes the Gaza ceasefire will trigger change for the good. He confirms reports Hamas is stopping foreigners from leaving Gaza and are using civilians as human shields.
We know that the Hamas use civilians as human shields. We know that the casualties between the Palestinians, the civilian Palestinians, were because of this. They use them as human shields. We don't know about foreigners.
Baron says he hopes other Palestinians in Gaza will rise to urge authorities to shift their efforts towards progress, not destruction.
Peace. The Palestinians can have their peace also. They can have their life. We left Gaza in 2005 to give the Palestinians the opportunity, the golden opportunity to rule themselves. But instead to invest this money in progress, in education, they teach their children how to kill. We hope that this ceasefire will give wisdom to the Palestinians, give them the wisdom to ask from those who is leading, controlling the region, to change their way.
Well, let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 4, the International Monetary Fund believes Myanmar can become Asia's next economic engine if it carries out vast reforms. It signals the country could receive a fund monitoring program in 2013. The IMF says the discussions point to the possibility of staff-monitored program next year. At number 6, the United Nations Environment Program says attempts of countries to reduce their carbon dioxide emissions have been slow. A UN report claims that greenhouse gases are 14% above where they should be by 2010. Experts warn governments must be more aggressive in reducing carbon emissions or face more disastrous consequences of climate change. BBC says a UN climate change conference will be held in Qatar next week, aimed at coming up with a global deal by 2015. At number 8, web surfing Russians find YouTube blocked Wednesday after the video sharing website appeared on a list of banned addresses. Officials later said it was, quote, a technical mistake. The blacklisting was done by Russia's Consumer Protection Agency. After a media outcry, the agency tells Russian news agencies the intention was to ban only 22 specific videos, giving instructions on how to commit suicide. And at number 10, the estate of author J.R.R. Tolkien files a lawsuit against Warner Brothers, claiming the film giant is abusing its right to merchandising linked to The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Filed weeks before the release of the first Hobbit movie, the lawsuit seeks at least $80 million in damages from the studio. Tolkien's lawyers claim Warner breached the terms of an agreement which allowed it to make money from physical merchandising. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. Rappler holds its latest Move.ph chat at the University of San Jose Recoletos. Students realize social media is not just a tool for social interaction, but a potent force for creating ripples of change. Walter Tupas reports.
Social networking sites are often banned on campus, but this attitude is changing. At the University of San Jose Recoletos in Cebu City, students can freely check their Facebook timelines and tweet. On Wednesday, Rappler held its latest Move.ph chat series for over 600 students from the University of San Jose Recoletos and other colleges in Cebu City to discuss the anti-cybercrime law and the use of the internet to promote social change. It is a cause that the university supports.
Rappler and many other domains are using the internet to promote social change. And we can only pursue change, especially you dear young people, if we will always be responsible users of this platform.
Through social media, the youth are able to use their energy and idealism to advocate issues close to their heart. There are 570,000 young Facebook users in Cebu City, and they are potent change agents. But social media users should know how to harness this energy responsibly in order to be effective.
A lot of us think na because hindi ka kilala, you're anonymous. You can post anything. Pwede mong tirahin or you can criticize anyone. But remember, as I said earlier, if you cannot say it face to face, don't post it online.
The Move.pa chat series also hopes to inspire students to be citizen journalists and report stories that matter. Rappler's Ayi Makaraig talks about the challenges of being a multimedia reporter.
You're the one-person superwoman news team because, number one, you're the reporter, you write the interview, everything we know that a reporter does, pero ikaw ang cameraman mo, at ikaw ang editor mo, at ikaw ang mag-post, pati keywords, ikaw pa. So, ikaw na John. So, you do a whole lot more with a whole lot less.
Whether a reporter or a student, the internet is a powerful tool for social change.
What is your power? Where do you get it from? And how can you use it? And more than anything, what we're trying to do in Rappler is to actually use our Facebook, our Twitter, everything that we do on social media or on the internet to actually help development.
And what about journalists? What is at stake for them? Reza says it doesn't matter what journalists have done in the past. They must adapt to this new media or become obsolete. Voltaire Tupaz, Rappler, Cebu.
A Gallup survey says Filipinos are the most emotional people in the world. The Philippines places first among 151 countries ranked for emotion, with Singaporeans as the most unemotional country. Singapore's economy almost doubled in 10 years, making the country of 5.3 million people one of the world's wealthiest, but apparently not able to enjoy life as much. The article calls Singapore's ranking, quote, an emotion deficit. The survey asked questions that reveal emotions, anger, worry, enjoyment. Respondents were also asked to evaluate their lives on a scale of 0 to 10 and say whether they feel life would be better or worse in 5 years. Here are the comments on the Bloomberg Business Week article. Grego Abaya Raimundo III says, quote, and now we know why the Philippines produces more celebrities than scientists, philosophers, and academicians. Lynn Encarnacion says, being the most emotional country means that the Philippines is very diverse when it comes to emotion. It also shows Filipinos value life, she wrote. Click how you feel on Rappler's Mood Navigator. As you know, every story on Rappler has a mood meter which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. Click how you feel and your vote comes down to the Mood Navigator in the middle of the front page of Rappler, which crowdsources the mood of the day. It also shows you the top 10 stories which have gotten the most number of votes, clicks on the mood meter, and places them on the front page, and you can navigate there. Let's take a look at the stories today. One of the things we have, the RH bill, dead in the House, says Cojuangco, 27% angry, 72% happy. And you have one of the top stories today, the list of 10 highest paid government executives in 2011, 25% angry, 41% happy. As you can tell, the Greens dominate. Today, most people are happy. Well, that's Rappler's newscast for today, Thursday, November 22, 2012. Visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel on our mood meter and help us crowdsource the mood of the day. I'm Maria Ressa. As we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.